18-year-old Hanna Elizabeth Graham was in her second year of college at the University of Virginia, out for the evening at Charlottesville's downtown pedestrian mall, meeting friends and having drinks, a night any college student would look forward to. But Hanna ended up heavily intoxicated and all alone, that is, until she met a man. Her last words overheard by a passerby on the street were, "I'm not getting in the car with you." And then she was gone.
No trace of Hanna has been found since she disappeared in the early hours of Saturday, September the 13th, now more than 3 weeks ago. Somebody listening to me today either knows where Hanna is or knows someone who has that information. Please, please, please help end this nightmare for all of us. Please help us to bring Hanna home. Thank you.
Before we begin, we would like to send our deepest sympathies to the loved ones of Hanna Graham and Morgan Dana Harrington, who fell victim to the abominable acts described in this case. Hanna Graham was born in England, a daughter of John and Sue Graham and the baby sister of James Graham. At the age of 5, the family moved to the United States, where they made their new home in the Stratford Landing area of Fairfax County, Virginia. A charming neighborhood once known as River Farm. The previous landowner was George Washington. Hanna came from a solid family. She was a happy, bright girl who loved life. Hanna was smart, athletic, musically inclined, and all around a great person bursting with vigor. Until she met Jesse Leroy Matthew Jr. Then the world would go dark and terrifying. In every photo of Hanna Graham, she's always smiling. From childhood to her teenage years, she was full of life. She emitted positivity and enthusiasm and an energy that would light up a room. To those who knew her, she had the potential to take the world by storm. Hanna had an amazing future ahead of her, if not cut short by an evil that too often inflicts the world with its selfish degradation. On September 12, 2014, at around 9:30 p.m., Hanna left her residence at the Grand Mark apartment complex to meet up with friends. They would then be heading to Charlottesville's Fig restaurant around 10:48 p.m. for drinks. Afterwards, Hanna headed to Camden Plaza Apartments on 14th Street to attend a party. At one point, she said she wasn't feeling well and was going to leave. A friend had offered to walk her home, but she refused. Her own apartment building was within walking distance from the Camden Plaza, but when she left the party around midnight, she went in the opposite direction towards the Tempo restaurant located several blocks away. Hanna was captured on surveillance videos as she walked past businesses on her way to the downtown Charlottesville Mall, where Tempo was located. This would come into play later. It was then technically September the 13th at 12:44 a.m. At 12:56 a.m., she sent a text to one of her friends telling her that she was lost and that she didn't feel well. Hanna was allegedly quite intoxicated at the time she sent the text. Had Hanna gotten turned around by accident, or had the alcohol intoxication caused her marked confusion? Earlier that evening, in another area of town, 32-year-old Jesse Matthew, a part-time taxi driver and operating room technician, had headed to the Lazy Parrot for drinks. Afterwards, he began bar hopping through downtown, making several rude and unwanted advances towards women. Those same women would later report that Matthew had stepped over the line with them. After a period of time went by, Matthew and Graham's paths would eventually cross. At first, Matthew let her walk by without drawing attention to himself, and then he saw his moment. He turned and followed her. With Hanna's heavy intoxication, her alertness to her surroundings would have been a little slow, a very dangerous thing considering she was all alone. Surveillance footage seemed to show that Hanna had been wandering around as though disoriented to her time and place. Matthew came up beside her, put his arm around her, and they were now walking together towards the Tempo restaurant. Matthews went inside and bought 2 drinks, and there is some contradiction on whether Hanna was in the bar or outside at a table, and if she was actually served. The last text that Hanna sent to a friend stated, "I got stuck down, though," which made no sense at all to her friend. It was 1 a.m., and it would be the last